Many people, when first hearing of dragons, might think them little more than wild beasts, something to be overcome and defeated, maybe even conquered. This, however, could not be further from the case. Dragons are, in fact, greater than us in every regard. Strength, intelligence, magical capability, anything that really matters. But there is a breed of lesser dragon that are very much wild animals. Many dragons even refuse to admit they are their kin, for they are beyond stupid. Their physical power is all they really have in common with what we call true dragons. But like greater dragons, they are near divine in their power and nature. It is still within them, even if deeply. They are all truly dragons as a matter of fact, and like all dragons, they are natural sorcerers. They, however, have neither the means nor the want to actually use it, and if I had to guess, because of this, they are somehow losing their natural abilities, as over the generations, this aspect of them tends to get a little weaker. Another thing that they have seemingly lost is their ability to talk. Again, like I said, they have lost their intelligence and self-control to the point where they do not speak at all. However, their biology implies that they are still actually capable of this. I have seen the organs of a wyvern, and I am very sure that they should be able to. So, I have a theory on why they never do so. See, some chromatic dragons, like the Reds for example, never talk to anyone who isn't another Red unless they deem it as absolutely necessary. So I suspect this happened to the proto-wyverns, so to speak. They would talk less and less until eventually there'd be a generation that didn't talk at all, and then they would not teach their children how to speak, and this resulted in them just not learning how to. I haven't confirmed this, of course, but since most people who take wyverns don't do it to educate them, it's something we can't really say. See, a lot of hunters and powerful figures alike desperately want to get their hands on wyvern eggs, since while a lot of people want to ride a dragon, and let's be honest, if a conflict is to break out, the side that is riding 7 dragons is going to beat the side that is not. The main reason they want to go for eggs, of course, is because it is near impossible to train a fully grown one. Like many animals in the wild, if you don't get them when they are young, you are never going to be able to train them. But you might actually be able to tell where the wyvern is from, too. See, the origins of wyverns are a little unclear and dubious. They are certainly biologically related to the dragons, but by what lineage and how long ago did they split is entirely unknown. But one thing that is clear is, unlike many dragons, their adaptability is very impressive. See, unlike many dragons, almost every wyvern has their own look, patterns, and colour. It makes you able to tell them apart easier. Different regions tend to have their own type of wyvern. But I should get to the topic I have been skirting around, the topic of their biology. See, it is very easy to tell them apart from any other type of dragon, given that they are missing a whole nother pair of legs. They have only 1 pair of legs and 1 pair of wings, and are considerably smaller than most other dragons. It also helps that they are considerably weaker and nowhere near as tough as them. But they do possess something that most dragons do not, and that is the stinger at the end of their tail. And see, this stinger is something that sets them aside from many others. It is almost the thing that lets them stand on par to most dragons. They are not, but it gives them a fighting chance. Within this stinger is a black tar-like venom that is unbelievably potent, to the point where it can kill most large animals in an instant. It is hard to gather and contain because it tends to dissolve most containers you put it in. But the other thing I'd like to note is its abhorrent smell. I cannot express enough how much it is horrid to the senses. It is like a sulfur fire burning feces combined with a rotting corpse. It is absolutely unbearable. This smell, however, does not just affect us, because of this horrid aspect is unique to each wyvern, and they can tell the difference between each other's venom. It results in them using their venom to mark out their own territory, or more often, just to scare others away. They only really tend to do the marking of territory when they are older and living alone, because for most of their life, they do not live alone. See, even their own family is repulsed by the venom, and so if a parent wished to feed their young, they would go to extreme lengths to make sure they are killed by just their talons and fangs, as to not taint the food so that their young could not eat it, because if it was killed with the venom, the young would refuse to, and by result starve. This is also the main way they settled disputes amongst each other too, by attacking each other with their stingers while in the air. See, they never really land when they fight, and they are disgusted, downright repulsed by their own venom. So when they have a fight amongst their own kind, it usually results in the two wyverns essentially jousting in the sky, trying to pour as much venom in the other's face as possible. The loser is the one who cannot stomach the smell, and so has to leave. See, this is also a reason so many lands and kingdoms want to get their hands on a wyvern, because you can easily use their venom on a town's outskirts, or maybe even a castle's walls, for example, to make sure that no wild wyverns go close. And in some mountainous regions, where they are exceptionally common, you might need to do this in order to keep them out. Many places who live on the mountains actually have to hunt wyverns quite often too, and this is fine for their population because they breed considerably quick and often. Each clutch of their eggs has anywhere between 2 to 7 young, and they hatch after about a year, and only take another year to be considered fully grown enough to survive on their own. This means that each mating pair of wyverns has on average 5 children every 2 years, meaning their population is not only very stable, but growing constantly, since very little actually tries to stop them. Well, as stable as a race of stupid dragons that attack almost everything they can see can be, of course. You see, unlike a lot of other dragons, they are hardly that powerful in comparison. This has actually resulted in some dragons viewing them as a little cute, and even sometimes keeping them as pets. I have even met and talked to a red dragon that did keep wyverns as pets, and the way they described it is that they view them like the cat equivalent for dragons. And I hate that that makes a lot of sense to me. And like a lot of other dragons, they sort of collect treasures. Well, it's not really an intentional thing. See, they have a habit akin to magpies in this regard. When they see a shiny thing, they will grab it and collect it and add it to their nests. This is sort of akin to a dragon keeping a hoard if you squint your eyes long enough and look at it. Of course, the most common thing is going to be a knight's shining armor because, well, it's shiny and you'll actually see that on the road. Still, if you wish to kill a wyvern, at least you'll be somehow rewarded. Wyverns have become quite common when compared to any other type of dragon. They, in truth, can be found anywhere in any realm and environment. However, they are much more common in rocky and higher up pieces of terrain. They can be seen in every mountain range you can imagine, and wyvern will be present in almost every biome at its highest point that is not already claimed by something greater, usually a few of them. I'm not quite sure to begin for a tale I have of a wyvern. They are very much a common occurrence. I would not be surprised if everyone who travels the road has at least seen them at one point, and anyone who goes out to hunt monsters has almost certainly fought a wyvern before. In many ways, they can be regarded as the common dragon. But I think the tale I shall tell of the wyverns is how my family grew to gain a clade of these beasts. See, my family, the Stonehearts, are nobles, one and all of us, and we have, over the years, amassed many assets. One of those being our family's choice in mounts, that being wyverns. Now, we have been in power for a very long time. This has resulted in us selectively breeding our mounts to be their own breed entirely. Now, one of my ancient ancestors, one Macan Stoneheart, learned of a supposed rare clade of wyverns that matched our family's colours perfectly, being white with an accent of red, and so he sought out to tame a member of this clade. But back then, it was going to be a bit more difficult for him, since my family was not always the wizards we are famed as now, but he was in fact a knight of the realm. So, he and a small contingent of 4 other men sought to hunt down this rare wyvern, travelling far south to the lands of Smouldering Sands. It took them weeks to find the nest of the beast that the locals had dubbed the Moorfang. but when he arrived to the nest, he did not find the beast, but the creature's offspring. There, left alone, were 6 eggs with the spiraling colours that matched our house he had sought. Though he thought it was a little bit too easy as he walked towards the eggs, just for the ground beneath him to fall and the wyverns sprung forth from the walls. The creature was smart enough to leave a pitfall trap, and my ancestor fell down it alone, leaving his men to fend for themselves. McCann struggled his hardest to crawl up through the sand as his men fell one to the venom, quickly leaving him alone, swallowed into the earth, fighting tooth and nail to bring the monster down that had now climbed down to feast on him. What won the fight, however, was really a stroke of luck, for as he started to swing his sword on a last-ditched effort, the sky gave way as the sand crumbled more, and the light reflecting off the sun made it impossible for the Moorfang to see him, leaving it blinded for my ancestor to stab him. He returned home with the eggs in tow, and those wyverns grew up well and healthy and became the ancestors to the ones my family ride to this day. I, of course, no longer ride a wyvern, for I have bonded with a dragon of my own, Zamuk, who gods me smiling upon me, or perhaps they just think it's funny because his patterns match the clades perfectly still. Thank you for listening to my tales. I am the Ashspawn. Feel free to leave a like, comment, or subscribe. It would really mean a lot to me. But, till next we meet, fellow traveller, have a good day.